I couldn't imagine they found out that some black lady finna be dated. What's a Tiana? Tia? Did y'all mean a Tiana? Here, Tijuana? Like that. I wonder would they say that. You know what I'm saying? If it was me, but I wish they would.
It's Tiana Will, and you're listening to the Tea Talks. You're listening to the Tea Talks.
All the pretty girls rock like this. That's how I felt just now. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on with my bowels right now. Golly. All right, let's start. It's everything just starts getting messed up once I start recording. What's popping? You are now tuning into the Tea Talks, aka Talks with Tea. You know me. It's your girl Tiana Will, and we are back with another episode, baby. If you are a new listener, welcome. And as always, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can also watch the visuals of this podcast on YouTube at the The'TtalksPod. This is a space for real conversations, honest advice, laughs, and a little bit of I said what I said energy. There are no topics that are off limits, so let's get into it. All right, so welcome back, y'all. It is episode 5, and I just need y'all to know how proud of myself I am for being able to get to episode 5, because while I was in the middle of these weeks or whatever, I was watching one of my favorite podcasts, which is Poor Minds, and they had Charlemagne on an episode, and he was talking about how most podcasts don't make it past the 3rd episode. So to be here at my 5th episode, I'm very proud of myself. So like sound, I need the noise, like yay. That's what I need. The cheering. So that's something. But as far as the things that are like what's new, what I did in the past week, first things first, I completed 2 weeks of a new workout routine, and I was trying to figure out what days work best for me to go to the gym, because your girl is trying to lose weight. I don't need anyone to be like, girl, you look fine, because no, the fuck I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I don't look crazy, but I'm not the baddest bitch alive. And that's what I'm trying to get back to. Like we always joke around that I'm not Tiana Woe right now. I'm just Tiana. But yeah, so anywho, my new workout routine, I go to the gym Friday through Monday, and then Tuesday through Thursday, I try to walk. And I try to take like a 1 day off. So whatever that day is. So like today is probably a day where I take off, but I try to walk on my lunch break. So I have an hour lunch break. So I'll eat for 30 minutes and then I'll walk the other 30 minutes. And it's cool because there's like a little path by my job. So I just get to like walk that path. And honestly, this has been like one of the best decisions I could have did for myself, as far as like making a more realistic routine for myself, because initially I said I was going to go to the gym after work and I'd be no, hell no, it's not working. It wasn't working out. And I only go to the office 2 days a week. So I was like, you know what? I need to go when I just have nothing going on really. And the weekends are just the most feasible, honestly. And the greatest thing is like no one's in the gym on the weekends. So I actually really love that, because I can use every machine that I need to use without it being super crowded. Yeah. So, and then I have like a little 3-week plan. So this is my last week on that plan, and then I'll go to another 3-week plan. And if you're wondering where I got this plan from, I put that bitch right up into, I put my goals, I put that bitch I'm cussing a lot. I'm sorry. But I put my goals into ChatGPT and I told him to run me a nice little program that could get your girl fit. Okay. So I'm doing like 3 weeks of one consecutive things and then 3 weeks because I know that one thing is like your body can't get used to like it can get used to a certain routine to where you plateau. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing different workouts after a 3 week period. So there's that. And also with that, your girl lost 7 pounds so far. In the Daniel fast, this is my last week. Can't wait. Because I want some meat so bad. When I tell you I am craving a piece of salmon so bad, and eggs. I love some eggs. I want a boiled egg. I just want to make some deviled eggs. Like I want to be an egg at this point because that is how much I miss eggs right now. So yeah. We went to bingo at the Suncoast last week. Me and my mom won some coins. I won bingo twice. And it's so funny because before we started playing, I literally was like, if I don't win today, I'm not coming back. Like, they're not going to see me for a while. And she was like, that's what you get. Now you're going to be coming back. And is, and will. I'll be right there, baby. So we did that. And then I played Keno and I won some more money on Keno, which is crazy because every time, like, when you hit on Keno, it'd be the craziest thing because well, at least for me, because I be betting like a quarter. And so, um, like, just imagine when it's like, here's a quarter, but you're winning like 422. Is yeah. So, anywho, that got me to like, I want to say I won like $100. And then I won like another slot. Anyways, you know your girl's from Vegas, so I love me a casino vibe. So that was that. Then also I bought an airbrush gun to do my nails. So for my Valentine's Day nails because I want like that 90s look and like the 90s background airbrush kind of thing. So can't wait to do that. Stay tuned for a little mini video on my Instagram, which I look forward to. Then another thing that we did was we had date night. We have date night once a week, which is either Friday or Saturday, depending on the day that I'm off. And we actually learned how to say I love you in 5 different languages. And so we've been saying it to each other, just joking around and stuff, which has been pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So we kind of knew one like Te amo, which is Spanish, and then Je t'aime, which is French, um, and then Ti amo, which is Italian. I can't pronounce the like Russian or German ones that we learned, but my favorite one is I want to say it was Mandarin Chinese, and it is Wo I Ni. Sorry, I got it. That was how I remembered it. If you're visually watching, you see I'm pointing at my eye. But yeah, Wo I Ni. Wo I Ni. Um, So I've been telling him that when I see him. So it's super cool. It's super cute. I love that. And that's from our deck of cards. That is the 365 deck. I highly recommend. We've done 17 days so far. And it's been really fun. I have truly been enjoying it. Yeah, so that is it for my updates. As far as this past week. And for today's topic, let's get into it. We are talking about what motivates you. And the first thing we're going to start with is the definition of motivate. And it says to give a reason for doing something or to give someone a reason for doing something. So I am going to start with myself on, what motivates me, and maybe you can relate. So the first thing that motivates me is my family, and I'm really motivated. Um, um, ooh, not me struggling. I'm motivated because I just want to make something out of myself and be like a positive representation of my family, if that makes sense. So kind of like making them look good, like just like kind of proud, but it's like obviously like yes, I want to make myself proud, but it's like cool. Like I feel like when I look at it from the perspective of like my own children, right? It's like I want to be able to be like, yeah, that's me. I did that. They're a product of us. You know, we did a good job. They're doing a great job. They're doing whatever they want to do. Um, and I just feel like being able to build off of their success because my immediate family, like everybody, they be doing a big one. They done did their big one. Like both my parents, you know, retired, pensions. My sister, very successful in her career as well. You know, big dog. Shout out to LT. Um, so just being able to see that definitely motivates me to just keep going and also being something that is a positive representation of our little family, even though I have a really, really big family, right? But even on the big family aspect, it's being able to be an example for the future generation. Yeah, future. I'm like, are they not the future? Yeah. The future generations like after us. So being like the big cousin and stuff like that. And they could feel like, oh, okay, if she could do that, I could do that. Like that's what motivates me. Um, yeah. Then the next thing, what motivates me is my husband, of course. He is always cheering me on. He is always supportive of the things that I want to do. I think the other thing that I really appreciate about him when it comes to my motivation is him keeping things like realistic for me. I am a person who very much loves to be delusional, right? And I think that he kind of like makes sure I'm like, all right, you can stay in your delusion, but just know like the reality is, and I think I've said this before, but delusional for me is my faith. Like my faith, you can call it delusion, you can call it whatever you want, baby. But when I believe that I can do something, I absolutely believe that I can do something and I'm going to do it. You know, of course, there are going to be things that kind of like remind me, like, okay, well, you can't just do it that like that, or it can't happen this fast, or stuff like that. But it can happen. Like, that's me. Like, he keeps me on the track of like, this ain't gonna happen overnight kind of thing. Cause I'd be like, tomorrow. He's like, yeah, give it about a couple of months, babe. I'm like, you're right, you're right, you're right. But it's gonna happen. So, I'm very grateful for him and his support. And I think the third thing that motivates me as well is my past. My past motivates me a lot. And I have been through some things. Um, and I'm going to share them, of course, but just being able to reflect on the times where I've made mistakes or just made decisions that kind of changed the trajectory of my life have really um, made me see all the times that I fell, but I got back up, and or just to see how far I've made it. Because I am very dramatic. So I feel like once I am going through something, like it seems like the worst thing ever, right? So some examples of like from when I was younger to kind of like right now. So the first thing would be that I kind of ever experienced being able to like kind of get up from some like hardship or whatever. And this is just a dramatic me, but it's traumatic as a kid. And it is switching schools in high school. And so when I went to, I'm from Vegas, I'm sure most of you know that. And so I went to Legacy for my high school. I went there in ninth grade, and I was loving Legacy. All my friends were there. Everybody I went to school with forever went to Legacy. I was a varsity cheerleader. I was on varsity track. Like, I was that girl, um, to myself, not like that girl being popular. So don't try to make it seem, because I ain't finna act like I was, because I was not. I was just very nice and minding my business and just doing me, right? But I had got a bad grade, and I can't even think of what class it was. I have no idea. Can't remember. Um Also, this is during the time of Parent Link, and Parent Link is like one of the worst things that could have ever been invented. Because I just feel like back then parents just didn't understand, and my dad did not understand. Like, he would go in there, and there were teachers who don't put like your work in. Now you got an F. And then I'm sitting over here pleading for my life about these grades. And I'm like, no, they just didn't grade it. Bullshit. Yeah, right. It was like a fear. Like, my heart would drop when I be on Parent League. And I be on Parent League looking too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But anywho, so I got a bad grade. So then I had, once I went to Legacy, we moved like right when the school year started. And so I moved over to Centennial Hills, and the school that I was zoned for is Arborview, and I'm like right around the corner from Arborview. And he's like, you know what? Your ass is going to Arborview whether you like it or not. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to my rival school? Like, that's crazy. And this man did not care at all. So and I just remember being like, I hate it here. I That was like the first time that I like really experienced um like racist remarks from kids. Like, I know, like, in my science class, there was a kid who, like, first week was like, oh, you like Kool-Aid and fried chicken? I was like, I need to go to the dean's office. Because what? Who are you talking to? And it's crazy because they used to be letting the white kids call them nigga. And I just, ugh, I couldn't believe it. It was such a whatever. But the positive side of going to Arborview was that I got to be in classes that I wouldn't have been able to be in at Legacy. So that was the cool thing. And it helped when I went to college. So that definitely motivated me that I can get through anything, even if I don't like it. Because when I tell you, for the whole 3 years, like, I barely made friends. Like, I have friends now who I'm cool, like, we're friends after, like, one of my best friends, for example, oh my gosh, one of my best friends, Leah, we was in the same homeroom. I knew exactly who she was, like, and because she was on a cheer team, and I never talked to her because, for what? Because all her friends at the, and this is, if y'all know me, y'all know that I am not like a person who don't like white people. But just like art, I didn't see her hanging out with no black people, so I was like, she ain't gonna be friends with me. Um, but anywho, so we met in Reno, and she knew me because of YouTube at the time. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I do hair, blah blah blah. So she like booked an appointment to get her hair done or whatever. And I just remember she's like, oh my gosh, like, you went to her review? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I know who you are. Like, I know exactly who you are. Like, you were the cheer captain. Your boyfriend was so and so, blah, blah, blah. She was like, what? No way. I'm like, yeah, girl. Yep. And she's like, oh my God, why you talk to me? I said, cause girl, you was giving, you wasn't down with your people. What you mean? She was like, it's so funny. But yeah, now she down with her folks because of me. She got right, okay? She's on board these days. But yeah, so that was one scenario. That, just thinking about things in the past where I'm like, okay, I made it through that. And things come out on the good side. Another time is having to change my major from nursing to public health when I was in college. I will never forget, because on the nursing program, you have to have like, I mean, you can't have no B's, not one. So you have to have like straight A's. And I remember, I think my first semester, I had got like an A and a B or a couple B. I don't know. Who knows? If you listen to me, C's get degrees. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So just I don't have no good advice. But I just remember going to talk to my counselor, and mind you, like this counselor lady, I don't care what nobody. I think people used to say this, but like she was like absolutely like a bitch. Like you would go in her office and she was like immediately ready to tell you like you're still in college. Like it was giving like, bitch, why is you here? But I remember I went in her office or whatever for my like quarterly check or whatever we had. I know we had to just meet with the counselor. And she was like, yeah, so you're going to need to think about what program you want to switch to because you will not be getting into our nursing program. And I was like, damn, give it to me straight, girl. Give it to me raw. And so I was like, okay. So I started looking around and I was like, dang. And I was like, and I remember the first thing was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to tell my parents? Because I don't think my dad ever knew for a while. But I remember I told my mom, I was like, oh, mom, I'm going to change my major to public health because blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh, that's fine. Like, okay, you can do this and that, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. I was like, cool. And so, yeah, that was that. And honestly, like, it was the best switch ever because I don't know who I was fooling thinking I was about to be a nurse because I can barely get my own blood drawn. I don't know if I would be even able to put a needle in somebody's arm. Like, and I'm such a precise person. Like, I feel like I would probably be a very good, like, I guess, phlebotomist. I'm not a phlebotomist. I don't think that's a good, is it phlebotomist? I think the phlebotomist is the name of the certificate. I just gotta make sure I ain't saying a lobotomist. I don't know. Just know I'm talking about the person who draws blood. But anywho, I just knew I wasn't gonna be able to do nothing like that. Even though, like I was trying to say, is I have a steady hand. But I feel like the moment I start drawing your blood, like the syringe is gonna be everywhere, and you and me gonna be passed out on the floor, and y'all gonna be like, who hired her? And I'm gonna be wondering the same thing. Like it's gonna definitely be giving I lied on my resume. So yeah, so that all worked out, and I love what I do. I have veered off more so to like the public administration side within healthcare, but public health was definitely that avenue to get me there. Um, but my love is definitely healthcare. Like at the end of the day, and public health is a very very broad umbrella. So being able to just be within that realm definitely is something that like I truly enjoy. Another scenario is during COVID, I was furloughed and from my job, which is like partial, like I wasn't even part time. You only work like a few hours. That's all I had to pay you, but you wasn't fired. And so during that time, I got my esthetician license and I started doing lashes to make additional money and as well as like doing hair still. And I just feel like that was a situation where it's like I made the best of it, even though it seemed like, you know, it could be the worst, but it motivated me to feel like I can do anything. Cause like who had thought I'd be an esthetician? And honestly, I just wanted to do lashes. Had I known that I had to go to school, um, but I don't regret it. I actually still to this day love doing lashes. I just don't have the availability, and I know you have to be very available, but I am pondering on figuring out how I can make time for some people. It's just when you don't have a good schedule, people, they can't come to you. So, and the last thing from my past that definitely motivates me, or just like, yeah, that keeps me motivated on knowing that I could still do anything and overcome anything, is having my job ripped away from me, because of my hating ass supervisor at the time. And what I mean by that is I um, had a very great role, and my supervisor, like, we just, first of all, at the end of the day, Shorty just didn't know what she was doing at all, like, ever. And it was like, how are you here? And I just recently seen like this lady talk on Instagram about how companies or, jobs will hire or promote people who you feel like don't know what they're doing. And they do that because that person is always going to say yes. They're always going to like approve. So then they create this culture to where like everything is just mediocre, right? But all they're looking for is yes men, and then therefore like they weed out the people who are actually like good leaders and stuff like that. So that should give you an idea of like the place that I was working in, and it's a very political environment as well. Um but I wouldn't have seen myself staying there for a long time. So it was great. I don't ever really see myself staying anywhere a long time because I just love I feel like I always outgrow things in a good way though, right? Once I feel like I can't not that I can't. Once I feel like my work here is done or I've gained what I need to gain, shorty's out of there. I'm out of there. Don't feel bad, nothing. Um because it's your life. You only get one life and you have free will. Like obviously I'm not a person who's just gonna quit my job and I ain't got nothing lined up. I'm just saying I'm constantly trying to find opportunities to grow, opportunities to be able to better my community, opportunities that are going to help me in the future, help me and my family in the future, all kinds of things. Like that is what my goal is majority of the time. But anywho, yeah. So my supervisor, we just didn't get along like at all. Like I there I experienced in that instance a what it's like when a white woman and a black woman work together. Like that was the first time that I had ever, well, not the first time, it was the second time, that I had experienced someone who was like just intimidated by the type of person that I was. Um, and I just remember finding out that she told my coworker, like, she's like, yeah, I just feel like Tiana's aggressive. Mind you, I am not aggressive at all. I'm just very assertive. So at work, I just like to get things done. Like, I'm going to ask like straightforward questions and not rude. I'm just going to be, but I think because people like to like beat around the bush or like tiptoe around conversations at work, I'm like, aren't we all adults? Like, aren't we here to just get the job done? Can you just say what it is? It's always, oh, well, we're going to talk about this offline. Bitch, I don't want to talk about shit offline. Okay? I want to talk about it right now with everyone so we can just solve the problem. Like you think because we're going to talk about it offline that we're not going to have problems, that we are. And then now we have to have 5 more other conversations because we didn't include these people in the conversation at the time. Like it's just a whole thing. But yeah, she was just like, Tiana is aggressive. And then I remember one time I had asked her something and I was like, oh, like, well, how come we have to do this? And she's like, um because I said so, or something crazy. And I, now granted, like if I could find, I should have pulled it up for this. I till this day have like a Word document of all the instances I had with her. Cause you don't even play about me. I got the receipts, baby. Dates, receipts, messages, screenshots, all that. Um and she was like, oh, because I said so or something, but it was crazy. And so I was like, you know what? I need a mediation. Call for a mediation. Please tell me why this woman cried in the entire mediation. Cried in the entire mediation. And I was like, okay, we're not getting anywhere. I also can care less about your white women tears. I promise you. Like, grow up. Like just grow up. Like that was that. And I just, yeah. Anywho, it was strange, but getting through that, and then so I had applied for her, not for her position, but I had applied for the position that she was in. And so I applied for two positions. So I applied for the position she was in. They didn't even say nothing about that, the interviews that were had, nothing. Like no notice, like, oh, you didn't get selected. They just sent an email out and was like, this person has been selected for this position. Congratulate them. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So then she's the person who's doing the interviews for my position. And I'm already like, this bitch don't fucking like me. So of course she's not gonna hire me. And what happened? Of course, she didn't hire me. And then she was like, oh, like you guys don't have to come in, because I was contractor at the time. She was like, you don't have to come into the office. You can work remote. And I was like, not a problem. I'll be at home. And I just remember I was so devastated. And I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, but I think at the end of the day, I was so happy that I obviously got another job, but I also was happy that I still remained who I was, even when it felt like I couldn't be. So there's that. So after saying that the past motivates me, and my future also motivates me, right? My goals that I have, I also, because I want to get my doctorate degree, my desire to be a mom, my desire to help my community, my desire to make change and leave a mark in this world while I'm here. And I just kind of like want to make sure that I'm known for being me, but being true to what I believe is love in this world. So those are what motivates me. But I want to talk a little bit too about like how I got here and how I have a better understanding of what it is that motivates me. And so if you don't know, I'm a reader. There was a time where I was a self-help book kind of reader. I don't really read those books anymore, but I never really read like self-help books from famous people. I kind of read more of like I guess they're like self-help, but you can apply them. So like with skills involved. And one of those books, so there's two books. So the first book is The 7 Healthy Habits of Highly Effective People. Let me say that again. 7 Healthy Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. All right. So the cool thing, and I'm just gonna break down like a little bit about this book. So the breakdown is you have two sections of like your life or whatever. So like take a circle and then split it in half, right? So you have your private victories. So these are things that are personal to you. So they're the habits that you're going to create that are personal to you. And it helps you become independent. So the first habit is being proactive. The second one is being within, cannot read ever. Gosh, begin with the end in mind. And the third one is put first things first. So those are the first three, which I definitely feel like I have mastered being proactive these days, and also putting first things first. I probably still need to work on making sure that I'm thinking about the end in mind, because sometimes I'm like kind of just caught in the moment and not looking at like what the results can be. But there's that. And then so for then the other half of this imaginary circle, right? You have your public victory, which is considered how you create habits that affect you publicly or like externally, right? So the first one is think win-win. So when you're working with people, so it should be a win-win situation. And then the second one is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And then the third one is synergize. And then the last one, because those are three habits out of between the personal and the public, or the private and the public victories, is to sharpen the saw. So it's kind of like you just want to continue to sharpen these habits that you have created both privately and for your public and publicly. So, my take on reading these habits is obviously having to apply them daily, but it has definitely helped me professionally when it comes to my view on how I stay motivated doing the things that I do without being burned out or letting people really get the best of me, because that can happen. I am always a person who lets people irritate me very quickly. Um, as someone who works in public health or public administration, right? It's easy to become unmotivated or distracted by the noise on how people operate. For example, like me talking about my supervisor, right? But I also think it's especially important to consider the thinking of a win-win, because I do feel like there's oftentimes, just for me working in government, that people are operating in like what's in it for me, right? They're never, so it's a win lose or a lose or a lose win, but it's never like how can we both win? And I feel like we're not going to get into politics today at all because it's not that time. But I feel like that's how like politics are. It's like it's never, I wouldn't say never. Like people are trying to like win, but this can apply to just in regular life too. We're going to leave the politics alone. But in regular life, right? People are oftentimes like in it for themselves and not in it for the person that they're working with. So I think overall, that book definitely helped me just like change my mindset professionally. That one was a really good book professionally. And then my next book, and this is my favorite book of all time, is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Coelho. Um, and this book is just a book that kind of like helps you find your purpose in life. But I feel that the book brought courage, strength, and it talked about like just never, it shows and demonstrates how never giving up and knowing that there's something that lives inside of you that never dies, but it keeps you motivated to continue to do the things that you were supposed to do in this life, whether they're big or small. And also with the reminder that, you know, you're going to have trials and tribulations, you know, troubles, but it's okay because, you know, as long as you keep it in your heart, you're going to get to where you want to do, where you want to go. And the only failure in life that you can have for real is just giving up, right? I think I love, again, who said this? I don't know. And I want to say, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like it's definitely a sports person. We'll just go sports. I play it safe. It could be a hockey player, but it could also, I have this beautiful laptop in front of me. I don't even know why I would sit here and guess, because we could just Google who said, oh, I was right. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Gretzky, which I want to say is a hockey player. Oh gosh, let me see. Yes. Oh, look at me knowing my stuff. Oh, okay, yes. But you know, you miss 100% of the shots, 100% of the shots you don't take, baby. So take them shots. And not tequila shots. I'm just kidding. Any shot you like. I don't, you know what? I ain't over here to judge, baby. Take them shots. Take them shots. Yeah. So anywho, those are the two books I definitely recommend. The 7 Habits one is kind of long and lengthy. I mean, honestly, you could just take the tips I told you. You ain't got to get the book. Just, you know, figure it out from there. But The Alchemist, 100% recommend to read. It's only like 140 pages, and it's not even like big or like whatever. All right, so that's it about what motivated me. We're going to move on to the Tea Talks hotline. And we did have some listeners share what motivates them. And someone said, my daughter, the only reason why I do it, honestly. Someone else said, the future me, visualizing the best version of me and making the necessary moves to get there. Another person said their delusion. And I support all of these. And especially the one with the delusion and future me. I know that I will also be there one day when it comes to my kids, and that will be the reason that I do it. But I also feel like, I don't know, because I think even with kids, I'm gonna always be doing it for me. Like, they gonna be definitely a factor, but I'm gonna always be doing it for me, because I also think, like, after, like, once they get grown and stuff, they not thinking about me. I'm gonna be thinking about me, so I still gotta do it for me, you know. But I do gotta make sure that, because I gotta stay motivated for myself, so then they can be like, damn, my mama motivate me. You know what I'm saying? My mama get me going. You feel me? So, anywho, so I did want to talk about a story, because I think it's perfect for today's episode, right? What keeps you motivated? And we are going to be talking about Oprah Winfrey. And you probably heard about this, or Oprah's life, right? So just to give you a little backstory or whatever. So Oprah was a news reporter in Nashville, Tennessee. She was the first Black woman news reporter as well. An interview that I was reading about, she talked about how there were ads that they would run once they found out like who she was, and it was like, "What's an Oprah? Do you mean okra or opera?" And I was like, "Dang, that's crazy!" Like, they was over there mocking this lady, and she said like the ad would run and she would see it. I couldn't imagine they found out that some Black lady finna be dated. What's a Tiana? Did y'all mean a Tiana? Here, Tijuana. Like that. I wonder would they say that. You know what I'm saying? If it was me, but I wish they would. um. Anywho, and then she talked about how her co-host was so rude behind the scenes, but she just like took it because, like she said, back in the day, that's just what they did. So when she was 23, they fired her on April Fool's Day, but she wasn't fired from the station. She was just fired from the news like segment. Um, and then they gave her a job to host a talk show in the morning that was like really bad. So like another show or segment or whatever. So then when she was 30, a Chicago news network called to see if she could do their AM Chicago show because they were losing to another person's show. And they needed something that was different, and they felt like Oprah was like really good at what she could do because she empathized with people, and she was really good at connecting with people. So she started doing that show, and she was doing really good. And then, oh no, my camera. We're back. All right, sorry for that. Okay, so when she was 32, she got signed for a national deal because she was doing so good. And they renamed that AM Chicago show to the Oprah show. And she quoted in her interview, "As bad as you feel on the day you're fired, the bounce back is equally as spectacular." And I just feel like her story alone shows her story alone shows how even through setbacks, it's important to not give up because there is always something greater. So stay motivated, y'all. Don't give up ever. Don't ever give up, okay? Keep going, just like me. I kept going, even though every time I'm filming one of these episodes, it's always something. All right, so we are going to get into the Would You Rather segment. So I got my handy dandy book here, and we are going to pick something. All right, let's see. Ooh, okay, this one's good. This is number 286. Would you rather have the kind of personality that causes people to believe you are a conniving manipulator or a pathological liar? Dang, okay, so people personality, like if it's my personality, would I want them? Like, why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Because I don't want you to think I'm manipulating you. Because then they're going to be like, you be gaslighting. I think I'm going to go with the pathological liar. You know what I'm saying? Because what you lying for? I'm definitely going with the pathological liar. Anywho, let's see what it says. I'm not going to have some reporters pawing through our papers. We are the president. Hillary Clinton commenting on the release of a subpoenaed document. Okay. Ooh. All right, I don't know if we talking about Monica Lewinsky right there or not. I'm just mind my business because I need to figure out what quote that's from. What time? What's she talking about? All right, here is this is from Cheers. I've never seen that show, but Sam, don't worry about it, Woody. I'm sure everyone will forgive you, Woody. But it was a lie, Sam, and I've never told a lie before. No, wait, that's a lie. See, now that's two lies. See how much easier it gets? Starts to get hysterical and cry. Oh my God, I'm out of control. What's next? Murder. Hey, maybe I should watch some Cheers. All right. So that's it. Tell me what you do in the comments. All right. So, I have been adding these weekly quotes at the end for you to take with you during the week. And I have two this week because when I opened up the Alchemist book, one of my cards fell out and I was using it as a bookmark, I'm assuming. And the first one says, those who devote their lives to a cause greater than themselves always find a larger, fuller life than the one they remembered. Wilbert E. Shear. I don't know. Weird last name. The next one is life is too short not to make the best and the most of everything that comes your way every day. Sasha Azevedo. I'm glad I ain't reading people's names in no graduation. I'd be like, make sure you put your real pronunciation on that card because it will get butchered. I'll be the person to be like, hey, Ron. That would be me. That would be me. Inevitable. All right, I don't even know where I left off. I know I was closing everything out. I hope you guys enjoyed those quotes. I'm so glad you guys listened to this episode today. And make sure you follow the podcast on all platforms at the The'TtalksPod. And remember, you can watch this podcast on YouTube every Thursday. And remember that the The'Talks hotline is always available for you to submit your questions, your story times or comments, and they will be featured on a future episode. And you can go to the thetalks.com to submit those. They're also anonymous, so I do not know who you are when you submit. And like always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay honest, and we'll talk next week. Bye.